I've gone to the Dragonframe website, and at the moment this is the front page. These things may change. I can click here if I want to see the Dragonframe software and read more about it. I already know that that's what I want to get. So what I can do is go to the store. This is all the stuff they sell. And they have the upgrade from their old software or the new, which is what I'm going to have to get, which I guess includes the keypad if you want to pay postage for it. So this part is just like online shopping. I'm going to add it to my cart. One item in my cart. Going to proceed to checkout. And I'm going to fill this out and buy the program. So this is the next page that I got to after paying for it with the credit card. It says notification has been sent to my email address. My order's being processed for the delivery. So I guess the next thing to do is to go to my email. License. So the first thing I'll do is download my program. I have to enable links. Okay, here we go. Do you want to run or save? Setup. I guess I'll run it. And here's the setup wizard. Okay, I'm gonna click next. I have to accept the license terms. Clicking next. I'm going to go with the default. Clicking next. Click install to begin. I guess that's just are you sure? Go ahead. Do you want to allow to install? Yes. Click finish. Since I'm doing this, I might as well try this. This is the only file they say you might need. But just for the hell of it, let's see what happens there. Same thing. Do you want to run or save? That's an exe file, so I'll run it. Again, agree to run it. Oh, languages. Let's say English. Close all other applications for running this. So why not? Click next. The default location. Select which component you want to install. Why don't we install everything? Create shortcuts in the start menu. Why not? Code setting to decode the following video formats with the software. I don't know. Since this computer is mostly going to be used for Dragonframe, for now, I'm just going to click next. Agree to its speaker setup. 2.0 stereo is the default. That's probably right for this laptop. The folder for virtual dub plugin. Again, I'm going to take the default. Ready to install. I have no idea how else I'd want to do it, so I'm going with all the defaults. The setup has finished installing. The application may be launched by selecting the installed icons, which I don't, oh, maybe that, I don't know. Click Finish to exit setup, or we can run audio decoder configuration, video decoder configuration, VFW configuration, which I probably shouldn't mess with, so finish. Remember, I'm going to need the serial number from my mail.
You've got mail.
Right, the license email. Save it again. And this right here is my activation number, which I'm going to copy. Make sure that's saved. Close that for now. And here's the new Dragonframe icon on my desktop. I'll double click that. Alright. And it wants the serial number. Activate full mode. I want full mode. So I'm going to click there. And this is where I can paste my license number, register to company name, my email, which is optional. I'm going to put it in. They might as well be able to find me if I'm complaining about a problem. Activate. I want activate. You have successfully activated the software. Full activation. Okay. I'm going to go to create new scene. For now, I'll just accept the defaults. It lets me put in production and scene information, names, where to save this project. Up here you can put in your path. Right now I'm going to create a new folder by right-clicking. New folder, and I'm going to name it Learning 1. And select folder. And Dragonframe is going to open. At the moment, I'm seeing myself because my camera is not connected. It's using the webcam right here. And I'm going to go to Help, User Guide, and I get to read. Chapter 14 is motion control. And there's where you get started. Reading. before I can connect the camera to the computer, I need to install EOS Utility. It's the software that lets the computer control the camera via USB. I'm going to install the Canon EOS Utility, and in Windows 8 I'm going to go to the desktop tile. Then I'm going to go to this little folder icon down here at the bottom. Then I'm going to go over here to Computer. And since I've had the disk in the drive, it's right there. So I can double click that and see what's on that drive. Okay, do I want it to make changes? Install software, I will click yes. Since I live in the United States at the moment, I will click USA, Canada, South America as my area. United States. No. English. Now we'll click easy. Click OK. Software to be installed. Digital Photo Professional EOS Utility. That's what I really want. Picture Style Editor, Zoom Browsers, Photo Stitch might be useful. WFT Utility. I have no clue. I suppose I could select just EOS Utility, but I'm going to go with the default. Okay, I haven't had to do anything, and it's just giving me progress of the install. And it's creating a bunch of icons on my desktop. Okay, it says it has completed the installation of all the programs successfully. Would I like to register now? I think for now I'll register later. Yeah. Okay. Now it wants to restart my computer. So I'm going to do that. Procedure is to plug in the USB first. And then turn on the camera. For the moment, I'm going to try EOS Utility because that is the one that I want to work. Alright, and I'm now getting something there. Select and download settings, remote shooting. So let's try that. I can do some controlling of the camera. I have a manual lens, so it's telling me I can't control that. Right, mode selector is in AV, so it's not giving me shutter speed control. But I do have control over other camera functions. To manual. Right, now I'm able to set shutter speed and ISO, possibly. Right. See? I'm changing the shutter speed with these little arrows. And here is the ISO. A double click opens the control, and the arrows let me control it. So this is the Canon EOS utility that I had to install, and Dragonframe will use this in order to control the camera. But you need to install the software from Canon or your camera's manufacturer first. My Canon EOS utilities have been installed. I'm going to turn the camera on. Now I'm going to go and start Dragonframe. Create new scene. Now I'm just going to take what it offers. Select a folder. And now I'm looking through the camera lens. What do you know? Now up here are the different windows within Dragonframe. This is the animation window. The one with the little camera is the cinematography window. Alright. The lower one is adjusting the ISO, and the upper one is adjusting shutter speed. This is because I have a manual lens. If I had an electronic lens, I would also be able to adjust the aperture here. Oh, what have I done? Okay. I've accidentally selected one of these. The icon at the end here shows the live view from the camera. So I guess that's helpful. Focus check. What does that do? That zooms in to help me adjust my focus. And I can click focus check again to zoom back out. The other window that we'd be interested in is the motion control window. It's the icon that not know. It's sort of an arc with different spots, I suppose representing keyframes. But this icon right here brings us to the motion control window. And right now we don't have our controller plugged in, but if we had that running, we would be able to move motors around in this window. So, arc motion control window. Cinematography window. Lets me adjust camera settings. And this one is the animation window, which is the window that you get when you first turn the program on. And what I'm going to do is plug in my mini DF breakout box with the USB. So I plug this into the USB port. Computer detects it. Light is on. Now what I'm going to do is go to Scene up here. I'm going to select Connections. And since this is the first controller I'm plugging in, it will be ArcMoco 1, and I select Connect. Now it's asking me to choose the serial port that I'm plugged into. That's the only choice. So I select OK. And status connected to DFMoco. It automatically checks this box whenever you connect. The box is connection required for shooting, and it's recommended that you leave that checked. If you were to uncheck it, Dragonframe would let you shoot animation even if your motion control device is disconnected or turned off. So this way, with this box checked, Dragonframe will only shoot if your motion control system is connected to the computer. It will refuse to shoot if your motion control is not connected. So we're through here. And what I'm going to do now is open the ArcMoco workspace. What I'm going to do is click this wavy line icon in the workspace, in the ArcMoco control workspace. And now it's given me my first axis It's going to allow me to name it. It's connected to ArcMoco 1, channel 1. It allows me to adjust the number of steps for the motor per unit of movement commanded by Dragonframe. The maximum jog speed by default is 1,000 steps per second. It will also let me enter a settle time. If I'm using a large rig like a boom or something like that, which every time it moves, it's going to sway a little bit, and you can enter a settle time in seconds for Dragonframe to wait until the boom or the rig stops shaking before firing a shot. Here are corrections for backlash. Backlash is the play between the gears, and if you're doing very precise things, this can come into play. As you're moving one direction, the teeth are always on one side, resting on one face of the gear teeth. And when you reverse direction, you may make several steps before the gear teeth are now resting on the other side of the teeth. And that free play is backlash. And so this backlash adjustment is so that you can tell it whenever it reverses direction, put in a certain number of steps for the motor to do to get the gear teeth into contact again. And after the anti-backlash move, then any further moves are actually moving your rig. So for right now, I'm going to name the axis dolly. ArcMoco 1, channel 1. I'll leave that as is. And I'll click OK. Now we've got an axis here marked dolly. We've got the controls to jog the motor. We've got a timeline and position data for this one axis, which is red, and labeled dolly. Right now I'm going to add another axis. We'll call this pan. Here we'll pick a different channel, channel 2, and OK. Now we have our pan axis here. I'm going to go add another axis. We'll call this one tilt. We'll put it as channel 3. And OK. And I'll add one more axis. Since our mini DF is a 4-axis controller, I'll name this one focus. I'll set focus to channel 4. Leave all these the same. Click OK. And now I have my axes of dolly, pan, tilt, and focus. I can move the motors manually now using these single arrow keys. As the motor turns, you can see its position being updated. And you can see the position of the dolly moving in our timeline. I can move the pan axis. Or move down here and move the tilt. Just verifying that my motors are moving. I can move the focus. So at this point everything is set up and we are prepared to begin.